My name is Ken Wingate, and I am the chair of South Carolina First Steps, the state board. It was my privilege to be appointed to this position by Governor Haley maybe approximately 6 months ago. Time is flying, but I am still very much in the getting acquainted and learning mode. It's funny being thrown into a leadership position like this. It really is like the true story of what happened to a friend of mine who was a young pastor who was moved to a town in Texas where he never had lived to take over his first church. And the first week, the first event that he had to handle was a funeral for one of his members whom he had never met. So he got through the ceremony, the service, the funeral, but afterwards was put in the second car in the funeral procession, headed to the cemetery for the burial. And he thought, well, this is easy enough. At least I'm in the second car, and I can just follow along. Well, they came to the first major intersection in a major city in Texas. Traffic galore. The police car ahead of him stopped, got out, and said to him, I'm going to block the traffic. You lead the procession on to the cemetery. And of course, he had no clue where he was going. Some days I have felt like I've had no clue where I was going. But to that end, I want to thank some of you. I won't start calling names, but some of you have been willing to spend a great deal of time with me offline trying to get me up to speed and educated. And from that standpoint, I want to say that the effort to continue to get to know you and the commitment to work with you and with your boards and with all the local partnerships and all the wonderful volunteers at every county partnership, as together the state office and the local partnerships work together to enhance the delivery of services to our most important constituents, the children. I regret that I was not at the event at the State House this morning. Though this is the week of the young child, this is also the week of the tax collector. And I am a tax lawyer by trade, and that means my cell phone is just blowing up with anxious calls from CPAs and clients, and I had to handle one of those at the last minute, so I missed the rally at the State House, but I understand that it was phenomenal. And I look forward to reviewing the tape of what was done there later in this week. I do want to recognize several of the statewide board members who are present, and I'm just sort of sweeping from left to right, from my left to right. I see Rick Noble is here. I think all of you know Rick, if you'd raise your hand. Jennifer McConnell is here with us from the state board. Another one of my fellow new members, Roger Pryor. Richard Pryor. Somehow that just has a ring to it, right? And then also Dr. Beverly Buscemi, who is not only a board member, but wears the hat daily as the director of Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. We know all of you have so many demands on your time, but Bev, today, especially you, thank you for taking time. I know you have a commission meeting Thursday for your own agency, but thank you for being here. One of the things I want to emphasize, please, and then I'm going to turn it over in a moment to Susan to introduce our keynote speaker, is that with the reauthorization bill that was passed last year, you're all intimately familiar with that, and with the restructuring of the state board, making it smaller, but also making all of the members voting members, so that individuals such as Dr. Buscemi, who also is the head of an agency in her own right, also sits on the state board as a trustee, as a voting member, if you will, of South Carolina First Steps, or the state office, as you probably refer to it. And it really has given us cause, with new members coming on the board, a restructuring of the board, to step back and to look at, with hopefully fresh eyes and fresh energy, what we can be doing to coordinate, to collaborate, to facilitate, and to assist you. I've had many meetings, public and private. I had one yesterday with one of the county EDs who came to Columbia spent an hour and a half with me one-on-one, just talking about ways that the state office could help with technical assistance, whether that be grant writing or whatever it may be. What we can be doing to assist you with regard to fundraising efforts. How we can be communicating with you in order to coordinate all of the multitude of activities that go on. With the broad matrix of services that we are all together trying to provide, everything from nurse-family partnerships to early Head Start to the multitude of things, there's a lot of communication and a lot of coordination that is needed. And so my request, my ask of you is that we treat this as an ongoing dialogue, a two-way street for communication. Please feel free to reach out to me personally if you have something you would like to ask or say. Please also feel free to invite me to come to your county or region. I am the chair of the board, but I'm just one board member, but I'm willing to commit to you today, as I've been saying in other meetings, that I will come to you. I'm going Monday. I've just told Susan I will miss a committee meeting here in Columbia because I'll be at the Blessings Resource Center for the day with Karen and some of the others there, seeing firsthand what they have going on. I told Patty a little while ago, I'll see you in Winsboro very soon when I can coordinate the schedule. I've got a meeting in Georgetown in a few weeks doing the same thing. And so my commitment is to make that effort to work with you and to work for you as together we try to serve these precious, precious children. I'm a new grandfather not long ago. My granddaughter is 8 months old today. And it's interesting, as a grandparent, I was sitting last night, I was drafted unexpectedly and solely into 4 hours of babysitting last night. But as I fed her supper and read her nighttime story, one of my favorite books, do any of you know the Max books? This one was Max's First Word, and it was always one of my favorites. But her face lighted up. She literally smiled when I got to the end. I like to think it was my dramatic reading. It probably was the color on the pages that made her smile when we got to the crescendo at the end of the book. But what a critical thing for us all to do. And God bless the children that don't have a parent or a grandparent or a family member or a friend who can be doing that. That's us, team. That is us. And so to that end, it's a privilege for me to work with you. I look forward to getting to know every one of you personally over the time ahead. And I hope it will be years and years and years that we're doing this together. So let's hit it with new energy, new cooperation, new collaboration, new communication.